Hello there. In this video, I will be giving a full analytical breakdown of the popular virtual YouTuber known as Sinder and the controversy that now surrounds her, due to accusations brought against her from various artists and co-creators. I will also be breaking down Sinder's apology and the ensuing aftermath that was brought on because of it. This breakdown is meant to be as unbiased and informative as possible to all parties involved, and to give the best possible summary of the controversy to those who are unaware of the situation. Please be aware, there will be contradictions that will be pointed out in this video on both sides. If you feel strongly about these contradictions, do not result in name calling or harassment to anyone involved. It adds nothing to the discussion and only hurts those who are affected even more. With that being said, let's get started. Before we talk about Sinder and their situation, I feel that it's best to recap what VTubers are and how these situations start in the first place. During the mid-2010s, a virtual YouTuber named Kizuna AI suddenly gained popularity and widespread attention for her unique style of content creation. This led to others trying to copy that success, and the trend eventually boomed during the pandemic in the 2020s, leading to the web being flooded with internet personalities trying to make a name for themselves, all while keeping their identities and private lives safe from the public eye. And as you all should know by now, where there's popularity, controversy is never far behind. There has been a wide variety of evidence shown of people, not just VTubers, being exposed or being accused of various controversies ever since the internet became widely available to the public. This includes interpersonal drama, petty bickering, sabotage, racism, sexual deviancy, slander, harassment, and many more. These situations are inevitable and cannot be avoided, given the nature of sharing your thoughts and personality online for profit, while also being involved with hundreds of thousands of other creators doing the exact same thing. But VTubers are slightly different in that regard. When it comes to most VTubers, you are essentially selling an idea of your own creation behind an avatar. It can either be slightly different from your normal self in real life, or it can be drastically different to the point you need to create an entirely different persona for yourself to make it work. Normal creators do this too, but with the addition of an avatar, many creators tend to create personalities that are very out of the ordinary and unique, which makes them special to a lot of fans. This is what many VTubers do, and it is so effective that there are entire corporations dedicated to hiring VTuber talents as idols, promoting them with merchandise, collaborating with other personalities, making music albums, and even being sponsored at real-life events. As you can see, VTubers are no longer the niche it had been during the late 2010s and early 2020s. It has grown into a multi-million-dollar business that, if you're lucky, could land you in a comfortable 6 to 7 figure career. Because of this, there are many instances where people use the VTuber genre as a business-first venture. This in and of itself is very natural and has been done for decades in the entertainment industry. But as I said before, this does not come without controversy. Over the years, there have been many VTubers who have been either exposed or accused of various things that severely damaged their reputations due to greed and entitlement. Take these VTubers for example, Gunpei and Nuxtaku. I won't go into too much detail about their situations since this video isn't about them, so I will give a brief summary. Gunpei is a VTuber who created an online persona of a girl failure and pretended to be single online in order to garner an audience for herself. During this time, she was heavily criticized on social media for shaming an artist who was well known for creating fan-made plushies for making a plushie of Gunpei's model without her consent and without royalty payments. While in some ways this can fall under copyright infringement, this artist has made a positive reputation for making fan-made merchandise with other creators' approval, which is also a strategy that creators and businesses use to bolster their public image. Gunpei did not want to do this. During the backlash, she doubled down on her entitled beliefs, which caused irreparable damage to her brand and career. Due to Gunpei's entitlement and overprotectiveness of her model, alongside it being revealed that she was in a secret relationship, it cost her a potential career. Nuxtaku is a bit more complicated. At some point during his career as a YouTube drama channel, Nux made a hard pivot against lolicon content, which is a Japanese word for suggestive or erotic content of very young or young-looking fictional characters. Regardless of your opinion of this genre, Nuxtaku's pivot against it was abrupt and noticeable, since he previously was indifferent towards it on his channel and on social media, but changed in an effort to maintain his reputation. He also occasionally shared sexual content of the genre with other popular creators to garner a reaction out of them. This led to him coming into contact with a femboy or feminine male VTuber known as Tigerholic, whom Nux deemed as predatory due to his sudden belief that any content that looked somewhat similar to lolicon content was incredibly suspicious, along with promoting unverified rumors of sexual deviancies that were immediately debunked after his video on Tiger was posted. These slanderous remarks ultimately damaged Tigerholic's reputation and good standing with other popular VTubers. The pivot ultimately did not help salvage Nuztaco's reputation, however, due to his odd behaviors around other content creators coming to light and sudden blacklisting from popular groups after a YouTuber known as Some Ordinary Gamers seemingly disassociated from him, damaged his already declining popularity. These are only some controversies that have happened, and there are many others that are far worse than this. But the main controversy that has garnered the attention of many as of late comes in a place that few expected, in a circle that many thought was free from controversy entirely. This controversy comes from a VTuber known as Sinder. Sinder is a relatively recent and popular VTuber known for a bright and friendly personality towards her fans and community. She describes herself as a hellhound VTuber and is very flirtatious and seductive when it comes to her online persona. Because of this, she has garnered a significant positive reputation across the VTuber community and in the eyes of many fans. Ever since her official debut in 2022, she has garnered a massive following of over 250,000 followers on Twitch and over 300,000 subscribers on YouTube. This eventually led to her collaborating with other well-known VTubers like Bao, Numi, Shylily, Silvervale, Shoto, and many others. And as with every VTuber's growing career, they will inevitably need to commission artists to update their models, which can cost several $1,000s to get done, and in this specific instance, will cost between $10,000 to $60,000 for professional models. Keep this in mind for later, because this is where the controversy starts. On April 26, 2025, a well-known VTuber model artist known as Nanoless uploaded an 18-page document accusing Sinder and their manager of manipulation and slandering other VTubers over the course of 2 years. She posts direct messages that she, Sinder, and their manager known as Redacted, later revealed to be her boyfriend, had sent to each other over the years as evidence of their actions. At the beginning of this document, Nanoless states that, based on working with Redacted, Red, Sinder's manager, and Sinder over the years, I am assured they speak for each other and there is no reason to believe Red was acting without Sinder's consent and knowledge. Whenever I use they or them, it refers to both of them acting as a team. Nanoless is basically asserting here that everything Red says in these direct messages are also under the knowledge and direction of Sinder. However, after analyzing all of the documents shown, there is no hard, irrefutable evidence proving that Sinder knew every detail about what Red was discussing with Nanoless. Likewise, there is also no irrefutable evidence proving that Sinder did not know about the discussion, which she claims in her apology document. So in the interest of fairness, I will regard this statement as only speculation and treat most of Red's actions as his own until more evidence comes forward from either party. Additionally, there is no evidence of Red or Sinder bullying Nanoless or other creators, which was a rumor spread on social media when the initial documents were revealed. As we move further along in the screenshots provided, we witness Red and Nanoless discussing plans for a pseudo-exclusivity deal and also plans to cancel other creators' commissions. The most apparent cancellation was a VTuber known as Silvervale, with Red and Sinder stating their frustrations over her with Nanoless. Red also complained that Silver would not recognize Sinder nor accept 2 requests for collaborations when asked. It should be noted that Nanoless posted these screenshots in a document out of order. The reason for why Nanoless did this is unknown, but after reading the screenshots in chronological order, several questions arise. On November 25, 2023, Nanoless stated in her screenshots that her friends, who are unknown, convinced her that canceling models for exclusivity was unethical after temporarily pausing work on Silvervale's model. She then denied Red and Sinder's request for exclusivity in order to maintain a healthy conscience. However, on August 5, 2024, Red and Nanoless discussed plans to cancel model commissions with Bao, with Red convincing Nanoless to cancel her model mid-development. The initial reason for why they did this is unknown. Then, on January 15, 2025, nearly 5 months later, Red initiated exclusivity discussions with Nanoless again and brought up excluding Silvervale, Bao, and others from receiving commissions. When looking closely at the discussion, Nanoless seems to still be open to the idea of some sort of exclusivity in exchange for a higher monthly raise, which could be a possible explanation that led to the abrupt cancellation of Bao's in-progress model. Please keep in mind that Nanoless's initial price range for model commissions is around $10,000. If these exclusivity discussions went through, Nanoless would potentially see a revenue upwards of $40,000 to $100,000 or more per year. Red seemingly attempted to haggle the price of exclusivity down by offering more art commission work instead. It would stand to reason that Nanoless did not agree to this arrangement, due to her contacting Sinder sometime afterward to explain her refusal. If this is the case, why did Nanoless continue to entertain discussions of exclusivity and model cancellations after outright denying the previous request due to ethical concerns 2 years ago? Also, why did Nanoless continue to participate in discussions of gossip with Red for years after blatantly stating that she felt uncomfortable doing so previously? The claim that Nanoless was being manipulated by Red and Sinder is also poorly supported, due to Nanoless having frequent casual conversations with Red and outright refusing offers made by them, which Sinder and Red did not attempt to push back on. The only possible evidence supporting the claim that Red manipulated Nanoless is when Red assured Nano that canceling Bao's commission was fine due to her financial and social status. However, the main reason why they did this, and why Nano entertained it at all, is never shown. Additionally, there is no evidence of Red convincing Nano into canceling Silverveil's model. By the post provided, Nanoless did this of her own volition. If there is evidence of the contrary, it was never shown in the document. Regardless, Red's actions in these discussions are indeed unprofessional, and on several occasions, childish due to petty bickering and complaints over other creators. While these types of actions in the entertainment industry are common, the fact remains that they are very frowned upon, especially in Red's case. Again, there is no confirmation that Sinder was or was not aware of these discussions. The only undeniable proof available is screenshots of her discussing her insecurities about Silverveil, with her saying, "I just get compared to her a lot, even still today, and it's like I'm always living in someone's shadow." Soon after Nanoless's document was released, Bao uploaded a Google document displaying her frustrations and opinions about Red and Sinder. Most of what is written in this document is repeated information from Nanoless, but there is new information that contradicts Red's accusations against Bao. Within the document, Bao provides a screenshot of a Discord call, claiming that she, other editors, and her YouTube channel manager discussed an exclusivity issue with Kaiser, who is a video editor, and Sinder. They claim the call was about Kaiser being unwilling to accept an exclusivity deal with Sinder, with them ultimately encouraging Kaiser to take the deal without hesitation. The other editors publicly announced on social media that they were indeed in the Discord call. This contradicts Red's and possibly Sinder's accusations against Bao for having negative feelings and jealousy towards Sinder, where he says, "Bao has been getting on our nerves for a while. She hijacked our YouTube editor a while ago and is constantly picking up artists that we work with." If Bao truly had negative feelings towards Sinder, then why would she go out of her way to encourage a fellow editor to accept an exclusivity deal that might put her at a disadvantage? Red further claimed that Bao was jealous of Sinder due to one of her music videos, edited by a person known as Sack, not doing as well as Sinder's, thus retaliating by offering an exclusivity deal with Sack. However, Sack asserts that the deal was made of his own volition and refused to take credit in order to make a name for himself. He was also in talks with Red and Sinder for a Rush music video during November, which he claims that neither Bao nor Sinder had any problems with. Again, this further shows the blatant unprofessionalism and pettiness of Red when it comes to gossiping and spreading rumors about other creators. It should also be said that Sinder herself did not directly post libelous remarks about any creators in regard to the evidence brought forward, other than sharing her insecurities when being compared to Silverveil in spite. After these documents were revealed, Sinder responded with a short message which says, "Effective immediately, Redacted will no longer be managing or overseeing my VTuber activities. He no longer represents me as a creator, my brand, or my intentions. I'm sorry everyone. I will make a larger response when I'm able." This reaction garnered significant negative attention due to others having issue with Sinder not taking the full accountability of the controversy, along with Redacted. This was soon bolstered by the fact that a VTuber known as Vampeaches openly revealed that Red was Sinder's boyfriend, which was not publicly known before this time. Regardless of your opinion on this issue, it is still only speculation that Sinder knew everything that Red was posting about. With that in mind, the action to terminate her manager because of this matter was indeed the correct course of action. After this response was posted, a third-party artist known as Rayne posted a 4-page document revealing that himself and Sinder engaged in sexting, sending nude photos to each other, and discussing cheating without Red's knowledge over 4 years ago, when Sinder was then under the persona of Tashi.mp3. The purpose of this document, Rayne claims, is to showcase Sinder as only an opportunist that only cares about her own interests, since he believes that the only reason Sinder contacted him was due to her being much smaller in popularity than he was. However, after reading the document and the screenshots, it directly shows that Rayne was aware that Sinder was already in a relationship, yet openly continued to participate in the affair for his own sexual benefit, as well as Sinder. Knowing that fact, Rayne presents himself as hypocritical for accusing Sinder of being unfaithful and opportunistic, while also displaying the exact same behaviors himself. The document also includes more information about Red and Sinder's personal life, displaying Sinder's sexual dissatisfaction with Red's unwillingness to become intimate with her at times, resulting in them becoming emotionally distant for an unknown period of time. This could potentially provide some leeway towards the opinion that Sinder and Red did not share everything about themselves to each other due to their strained relationship. Later on during that day, a VTuber known as Spite released a document responding to Red's claims that her model rebrand, along with apparently unfollowing Sinder at some point in time, was suspicious. Spite claims that she did not know who Sinder was until her debut announcement in May 14, 2022, and points out several coincidences where their model and outfits are somewhat similar and were released within months of each other. Other than the myriad of strange coincidences, there is no hard evidence shown proving that either Spite or Sinder are guilty of plagiarism. It should also be pointed out that the fox and wolf style character designs that both VTubers are going for are not uncommon in the VTuber community, and are often compared to by many fans. That being said, in the interest of fairness, let's look back on the timeline to the very beginning of their model announcements. Spite first created her Twitter account in May of 2021, then uploaded a reveal of her first model to social media on July 6, 2021. When looking at Sinder, however, her Twitter account was created nearly 7 months earlier in December of 2020, with official artwork of her model being revealed in January 16, 2021. There was also a character sheet shown by Sinder on March 9, 2021, with Sinder stating, "My fire just so happens to turn blue." Looking back at Spite's document, she raised a suspicion that Sinder was copying her after revealing artwork of her model with blue flames in the grayish skin tone, but as the dates show, these details were already being implemented into her model from the very beginning. With all of this in mind, Spite's assertion that Red's claim of plagiarism was baseless can very well be brought against Spite's own suspicions against Sinder, due to her model seemingly being in development and released several months later than Sinder's reveal. Because of these findings, I feel that it is appropriate to render Spite's document irrelevant to the conversation, and should not be a major factor in judging Sinder's character. As for the other coincidence brought up, I will leave you to form your own opinions. On April 27, 2025, Sinder uploaded a 7-page document apologizing to various creators and artists that were affected by the controversy, along with providing her reasonings for certain situations. In it, Sinder states that, "I was not fully aware of the extent of Red's manipulation over Nano's commission decisions, and I should have been more diligent in my oversight." She also mentions Silverveil, admitting that her own insecurities over allegedly being compared towards her led Sinder to grow resentful and pursue plans to prevent Nanoless from making any more models with Silverveil by exclusivity. Sinder then mentions Spite and pleads that, while she did believe that Spite was copying her, she did not do anything other than discussing with Red about it. She also claims that the gray skin tone in the model artwork was not deliberate, but the artist's personal choice, while also asserting that the blue flames were indeed part of her model from the beginning, which has been proven earlier in the video. It should be noted that Sinder's apology document is very unorganized and only contains text. Sinder does not provide hard evidence disproving that she knew about Red's actions, so this main issue must still be considered speculation until further evidence comes forward. There was also extreme contention from people online over the use of the "it's just business" comment that Sinder made towards Nanoless after the latter still wanted to do work for Silverveil. Sinder did not object to this, and repeats this assertion in a document as well. Looking over the discussion they were having, it seems that Sinder and Red were encouraging Nanoless to pursue other clients and business opportunities after confusion arose during discussions of exclusivity with Red. Nowhere in the screenshots or documents does there show evidence of Sinder using this phrase to justify her own actions and manipulation tactics. The only possible evidence shown that is similar to this is Red hoping Silverveil finds a new model artist and convincing Nanoless that Bao was privileged enough to find a new artist very quickly. Sinder then writes individual apologies to each of the parties involved. Whether or not you believe these apologies, I will leave you to form your own opinions. However, I believe these apologies would hold more weight if they were sent individually and privately to each party involved to be more personal. Sinder did attempt to contact Nanoless for an apology/explanation, but was immediately blocked by Nanoless before she could speak to her. This section will be the most complicated and longest section of the video, due to Shylily's significant involvement with Nanoless and Bao over the creation of the Google document. On April 28, 2025, a popular VTuber known as Shylily uploaded a 17-minute video on YouTube explaining her side of the controversy and her opinions about it. In the video, Shylily openly reveals that she was aware of Nanoless's document and was in direct communication with her nearly a week before it was released. She also reveals that what seemingly started the preparation of Nanoless's document was leaked messages of Red complaining to Nanoless about Shylily dodging planned collaborations and ignoring Sinder's messages to her. Shylily admits that if these messages were not sent, she would not have made preparations to release Nanoless's document. These statements would be considered slanderous, but Shylily corroborates these statements in the video by revealing that she deliberately avoided 3 collaborations with Sinder, but downplays the situation as projection on Sinder's part, due to her rescheduling a collab with Shylily about the recently released trading card game VCard. VCard is a collection-based trading card game that is owned by the energy drink company GamerSupps. It uses VTubers and other creators as cards, which are then used in competitive games between fans. It should be noted that Sinder and Shylily are both partial owners of GamerSupps, and are both heavily involved in the creation of VCard. During VCard's launch on January 31st, 2025, Sinder rescheduled the collaboration with Shylily to February 1st, 2025, which coincided with the concert of another famous VTuber known as Numi, who planned for Sinder to perform with her. Within days of the concert, Sinder informed Numi that she would not be attending in order to focus on the VCard launch and collab, which greatly disappointed Numi. The reason for why Sinder rescheduled the collab on the exact day of Numi's concert is unknown, but one potential reason could be that Sinder felt obligated and eager to impress after very recently becoming a partial owner and spokesperson of GamerSupps. So she scheduled the collab directly after the game's release in order to promote it and GamerSupps as a whole. Numi also stated in the video that when she asked Sinder for an explanation, Sinder allegedly responded by saying that she felt obligated and had a responsibility towards GamerSupps. Sinder allegedly responded a second time, apologizing to Numi and bringing up other reasons as to why she could not attend the concert. Numi then forgave her after this apology. These other reasons, as of now, are unknown. Either way, regardless of the reason for Sinder's collaboration reschedule, another question arises. As stated before, Shylily is also a partial owner of GamerSupps, and has been one since 2024. If Shylily felt uncomfortable with rescheduling the collaboration on Numi's concert day, why didn't Shylily protest against or refuse Sinder's decision? There is no reason given by Shylily as to why she did not argue to schedule the VCard collab after Numi's concert, yet she blamed and berated Sinder in the video and on social media for allowing it to happen in the first place. The reschedule overall is still Sinder's error, but the fact that no evidence was shown of pushback against the decision remains questionable. Moving on, Shylily then states that she, Nanoless, Bao, and potentially other creators got together and created a group Discord chat in order to gather as much evidence against Sinder as possible. Shylily did not publicly announce her involvement in the documents before this video was posted. The only person who revealed her involvement was Bao in her own video. In it, Bao reveals that she was contacted about the private messages beforehand, but asked to wait for more information until after she was released from surgery being conducted soon. Shortly after the surgery, Shylily insisted that Bao should be involved and that she should reveal Sinder's private relationship with Red, which she refused. Bao also stated that she was put into a position where it had to be her to say something or nobody else would, and she felt there was no other choice but to post Nanoless's document. These statements by Bao raised confusion. Why was Bao put into a position where she felt pressured by Shylily and others into making a statement and revealing Sinder's relationship? The only significant piece of information that Bao provided in her document was proof that she had no ill will against Sinder by showing her approving an exclusivity deal with her editor. All other evidence Bao provided was repeated information. It would stand to reason that the purpose of Bao's involvement was to make Nanoless's claim hold more weight. Due to Bao being one of the most successful independent VTubers in the community, Bao's claim that nobody else will say anything is baseless, due to Nanoless and Shylily already preparing to go public with the information before Bao was ever contacted. It should be pointed out that at no point before the documents were posted were there any attempts by Shylily, Nanoless, Bao, or anyone else to confront Sinder or Red privately about these issues. The only explanations that Shylily and Bao provided were assumptions that Sinder would either deflect or ignore the claims entirely. Regardless if these assumptions were warranted or not, I believe that an attempt should have been made either way to resolve these issues privately, to demand a more sincere explanation/apology privately, and to reduce unnecessary public outcry against Sinder. Given that this did not happen, and due to the circumstances leading up to Nanoless's document, it would stand to reason that this was possibly a coordinated effort conducted by Shylily and others to deal as much damage as possible to Sinder's public image. This theory is bolstered by the fact that Shylily openly discussed Gamersults potentially buying out Sinder's shares, confirming that she held negative feelings towards Sinder for a long time, reacting negatively to Sinder's comment about wanting to be the Charizard of V-Card, stating that burning merchandise of Sinder was okay to do in her eyes, and finally, the fact that Shylily would not have accepted Sinder's apology regardless of what she had to say. Keep in mind, these comments were not in the original video uploaded on Shylily's channel, but were specifically edited out for unknown reasons. After looking at all of the evidence, videos, and opinions shared, I firmly believe that this entire situation became more serious than it ever needed to be. What Red said was wrong, yes, but these messages were private and discussed with an alleged friend. These matters should have been dealt with behind closed doors between all parties professionally, and the public did not need to know about anything that was said in these messages, nor anything about Sinder's private life. The fact that Nanoless leaked private DMs of clients to Shylily at all is completely unprofessional, and proves that she is not capable of handling work issues properly. Also, the fact that Nanoless charges a $1,000 NDA fee for work secrecy is somewhat suspicious given the circumstances. Nanoless also has a history of making private disputes between colleagues public. On July 31st, 2024, Nanoless posted on social media of her frustrations against a VTuber model rigger known as Kevin. Kevin responded, saying that he attempted to discuss the issue with Nanoless privately, but never received a response. Nanoless corroborated this, but instead of replying and coming to an understanding, she publicly posted her frustrations and declared that she will never work with Kevin again. The fallout from this post overwhelmingly damaged Kevin's reputation. In the end, is Sinder to blame for everything that happened? No. Was she aware? Possibly. But the actions of those seeking to expose her were unjustified and unnecessary. The fact that Sinder's alleged friends conspired so heavily to publicly shame her as if she were a criminal, rather than confronting and helping improve the actions of a friend in private, leads me to question if there was a genuine friendship between any of them, especially Shylily in the first place. Thank you for watching this video. I hope this analysis helped you reach a better understanding of the situation, and that it helped you form a more reasonable conclusion about Sinder and VTubers as a whole. To Sinder, if you are watching, I do not want this to be the end of your career, and anyone who says otherwise is only exaggerating the drama for their own entertainment. I believe that you have a bright future and have achieved many things, while I also believe that your blatant insecurities with other creators hinder you from reaching your potential. Do not take the road that Gunpei or Nuxaku did, and pursue your endeavors with grace, dignity, and genuine compassion for your work, for this is the only way that you can continue doing what you love. With that being said, I will see you all next time.